Hello, this is Lisa Russick with the podcast We Are All Psychic, and look who's back. If you're looking on Spotify or YouTube, it's Nichell. And Nichell, how are you doing today?
Hi, Lisa. How are you? I'm good.
I'm spiffy, downright spiffy sometimes, on and off
Spiffy is
all
like
day.
that.
So, do you still think, or know, or do you suppose that we are all psychic
We
still?
are all psychic, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Everyone who has a breath has some form of consciousness and subconsciousness.
Love it. So, listeners and watchers, this is a video and it will be on Spotify and YouTube. And Nichelle is going to kind of tell us what's going on with the astrology and the energy right now and what we're picking up and what we're feeling with everything changing. We've got a blood moon coming up. Very
Yeah.
exciting. So, where would you like to start telling us about stuff?
So we do have a full moon, a full blood moon lunar eclipse on Friday at 2:55 a.m. at 23 degrees and 57 seconds of Virgo. So 23, 24 degrees of Virgo. And also affected in is 23, 24 degrees of Pisces, which is where Saturn is entering. And then there's also Neptune just spent a bunch of time here, and the North Node is about to hit this point.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of energy concentrated wherever the Pisces Aries axis is in your chart.
In mine,
Uh,
I have it's my 10th house, and I guess what's opposite that? Fifth?
Fourth house, home
Fourth
and
house.
family.
Okay. And I have Jupiter, Air, and Chiron in my Aries, and my MC, and my IC obviously is in the opposite. So,
Hmm.
and I also have in the fourth house is Pluto. Pluto.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in a square to my moon and my Saturn in Cancer in 12th house.
Wow. So you're going to experience a lot of changes. So your energy is in a lot of these cardinal signs.
Yes.
Oh yeah. So you'll experience a lot of change. You'll have some kind of career recognition that will be connected to the past 7 years, something that started around 2016, 17, or 18.
My whole life changed in 2018.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it got me back into this work, and I started this podcast in 2019 because of that.
So maybe your podcast will move to another level.
I don't know, I've always been a musician and I love music, and I just talked to someone today and I might be playing in a band soon too.
Okay,
I'm gonna play
cool.
bass in this band though. So
Oh, nice.
I
I
don't know.
love that for you.
And I really would like to, I'm doing a lot of experimenting with sound healing and stuff. And I want to kind of make music with it,
Nice.
in the
Pisces is
432
connected to
hertz.
music.
Yes, I'd like to. I can do it all. I have the equipment and stuff to do it. I just haven't learned how to do it. I have to figure that out. Like what I mean is, for example, I did my first sound healing podcast and here on this podcast, yesterday or the day before. And I did the G bowl, which cleared out my throat with the 432 hertz G bowl. And I was talking about PTSD and in my case, and that's what I'm going to work on through the sound series. So I have something to actually focus on. And it really did clear out my throat. So, for example, I would write a song around the G note for clearing your throat, and maybe for PTSD, they talk about the throat, the sacral, and the
Nice.
root and the heart. So I would hit notes around those areas, try to coordinate them, but make it a song somehow.
Oh, I like that.
like a rock song or something, like a song, that people can dance to and feel good,
What's in your fifth house?
Fifth house. Let me look real quick. There's quite a few things I think going on in my house of fives. Let me get my little astrology chart pulled up real quick. I believe that the Pluto stuff in my fourth house says a lot about like what I've been through. It's conjunct my IC.
Yeah.
Tells a lot. Let's see. My fifth house is. Oh, I'm sorry. My fourth house is Uranus at 0 degrees Scorpio in this one. Okay. So my fifth house is where Neptune is in Sagittarius, and my
Oh,
South Node is in Sagittarius in the fifth house. And a
okay.
little bit of Scorpio is.
Well, so you're supposed to be known for galactic type music, or music that's very progressive, different.
I used to
And
play punk rock. That's when I started playing in bands, was punk rock. But usually, if I'm playing by myself, I'll just play acoustic stuff, so your piano.
okay, okay. So
You
yeah,
never
you're
know.
attracted to that unusual sound, the
Definitely,
different
yeah.
sound that has a spiritual tone to it,
Yes,
from almost like ancient wisdom.
exactly. What I've learned is that the natural frequency of the Earth people consider to be 432 hertz, like the natural
Mm.
resonance. So,
Hmm.
and in 1953, I think, is when they changed the A note from 432 hertz to 440 hertz. 1953, like
Okay.
the global note frequency. That's just crazy because everyone's been using all different kinds of frequencies for their
Mm.
notes.
Interesting. That was a 9 year,
Yes, I
1952. That
did
was
that too
9 year.
in the podcast. I talked about it being a 9 year.
Yeah.
You
So
go
it has
there.
a
I love
vibration
it.
of Pisces, of that other dimensional type of energy, healing energy.
Yes, I have Mars in Pisces.
Oh, so you're a spiritual warrior.
That's what you said one other time too. So yeah, I'm
Mhm.
trying to fight with music. I want to do the
There
Bill
you
and
go.
Ted thing. I want to
There
be
you
Bill and
go.
Ted and change the world with music. I'm
There
going to
you
be both
go.
Bill and Ted. I think I can pull it off.
You could do it. Yeah. Set the vision, and and especially like right now, and connect it to something that you've been working on,
Yes.
over the past 8 years, and envision that this new energy, these new codes, these new light beams that are pouring in to the earth, that you are elevating to the next level based upon what it is that you've already created.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting you say that. Because in 2018, I also was kind of realizing that I just really never felt like I'd been loved before, honestly. Like unconditional love. I mean, I don't know who has, except by God. But I just really never felt love. I wasn't feeling love in my life in 2018, and I just started like a journey to finding myself love, to finding love in the world toward me from someone else. If it's there, I haven't found it, but I'm looking. I mean, I'm sure it's there, but you know what I mean? Like any kind of like connection with someone that's not based on me, it feels this way anyway. It's not based on me in like proving myself to someone to gain love,
Mm-hmm.
to achieve love, or to, what do you call it? Earn love. That's what I was kind of, what I always used to believe. Let's put it that way. I didn't know I believed that though. But in 2018, I started that kind of journey of realizing that was how I am wired, or was wired, and I'm trying to change it. So
Mm-hmm. Your
there's that
programming.
aspect. Yeah, my
Well,
purpose.
I think that doing a lot of work upon the self, and it's always going to come back to the self love, and we really humans by nature are self focused and self centered. When they fall in love, they're not falling in love with another person. They're falling in love with aspects of themselves that is coming awake with the activation of that person's presence. So it's you always have to bring it back to the self, that it's nothing outside of you, it's all within you, and you have whatever you
Exactly, it
need
is.
within you. and
It
and
is.
each relationship, each
I
person that
mean,
you
not just talking about
encounter,
romantic relationships. My
yeah,
friendships are
it's
all
a
gone. My
different
family's a mess. I mean, all my relationships are an absolute mess right now because of
oh,
the 2018, realizing that a lot of
oh.
people haven't done me right, and slowly
Mm,
calling them out over year after, like more so in the last few years, them, I don't know, the people who haven't treated me correctly in my mind, it's used me, told me that I could only earn love. That's what I was taught, especially by my second husband, who was really abusive. So I'm going through a lot of PTSD from that. And
mm.
around 2018 is when I started like really accepting that was going on. And I was married for a long time. So it's been hard.
Well, get on top of the energy, because the one thing
Yes.
about Pisces energy and Virgo energy, well, Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury does rule the mind. So it is mental activity.
Yes.
Virgo energy, or an imbalance of Virgo energy, is mental illness.
Definitely.
Um,
Yeah.
Pisces energy is spiritual energy, and an imbalance of that energy is combined with imbalanced mental energy. That's schizophrenia. That's bipolar energy. That's,
I have those diagnoses, but
yeah, that's
they're
an
actually caused by
escapism.
hypermobile Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. They're not caused by what's usually caused in people who have those disorders. So
Hmm.
it's very difficult to treat by the doctor's points of view.
I think that people, just like those that are on the spectrum, or are autistic, that they are of a higher dimensional being. They're of a dimension, they're of a different vibration than your average soul. Like, they did agree to come into the earth and to inhabit this body with its limitations and restrictions. And it's really about examining what are the limitations and restrictions. If it's something like, I was just I just did a reading with a woman who has a 5-year-old that is nonverbal. He's autistic. And the thing of it, the question to ask is, okay, if this child is nonverbal, there's a reason why the verbalage is being suppressed. Can this, how does this person express themselves creatively, using other vices or other means to communicate? Because something about the voice was abused, or it could have been even someone who was verbally abusive in another lifetime, and is coming back in a form of a body that is restrictive. But yet it has to be a part of the evolution of their soul family, and also that connection, what their soul family is learning, that reflection back to the self. So yeah, it's just understanding, what is, a blind person. A blind
Yes.
person, abuse sight, or abuse the power of seeing in another lifetime, or dismissed what they were seeing, or lived in a world of suppression anyways. So it was like,
Or maybe they were an artist and they wanted to try to live life without seeing. Stuff
true.
like that can happen. It's
There's
a
many
challenge. Like,
different,
they love looking, so they give themselves a life where they can't see and never have.
yeah.
Did you ever see that movie First Sight with Val Kilmer in it? I don't know. I think it was Val Kilmer in it. He was blind his whole life, and a doctor found a surgery or something, some kind of thing that could make him see for the first time
Oh,
ever.
wow.
And he just freaks out when he sees. Because can you imagine not ever seeing, and then this? It would
Yeah.
be really over, because he doesn't know what anything is, and it's
Hmm.
what looking is. Just he did a really good job that Val Kilmer did when he realizes when he sees for the first time. He's just running into things and messing everything up and freaking his shit out. He did a good job. I would too, though, if I'd never seen anything before. I think for someone who maybe like the psychic energy, if they were just suddenly thrown into like a fully developed empath experience, body, physical energy, and everything, that would be shocking to some people who don't really connect to other people at all,
I think it is shocking. I
or
think
on
that's why a
purpose
lot
not
of
to.
these people end up being medicated, or,
They
locked
do.
up.
And, I did a stress test and they said my gamma waves they're really high. And they said it was an extreme coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
They to have high gamma waves, from what I understand, is just being kind of like in an elevated state of ecstasy, so I can't just put myself there on purpose as a as a coping mechanism, can I? I mean, I guess you can do anything, but that seems very strange to me that they wouldn't say, well, that's cool. What happens with this? They're like, immediately it's a coping mechanism. Immediately it's something wrong with me that my gamma waves are high, my brain. So, I mean, I just found that strange that was the first assumption they make when they see that, it's a bad thing,
True, exactly.
you know?
Kind of the same thing of I am. I don't know. This may be a little too controversial to speak on,
I
but
love it when you say that.
this thing with the mammograms, the yearly mammograms, pap smears every 6 months. I can't even tell you how many women I know who have gone through. Oh my God, my doctor found, or I've had an irregular pap smear, or my doctor found something in the MRI or the scan, and they go through this crazy state for 6 months, being
Yeah,
completely freaked out about it, and then 6 months later they take a new tests or updated tests, and the doctors or the technicians are like, "Oh, it's gone. It's
that's
not there
it.
anymore."
Oh, I've had that happen to me, like
Oh,
just within the
really?
last 2 years. Remember? What's up with that?
Yeah, and this is what I don't believe. I don't believe in getting scans and MRIs. Like unless like you've broken something or there's something really like don't do that shit every year. Are you
I
crazy?
agree with you. And
And
it
what
may
they're
be
doing is the
controversial, but I
medical
agree with you. And that's one reason I don't do
right?
it.
The medical community is
Yeah, I
going, of
agree.
course they want to find something. Your
To get
money,
money.
your
Yes.
cash dollars to them.
When I went in 2020, during COVID, doctors and surgeons weren't getting the money they used to because people were sick and they weren't getting surgeries, or they couldn't get surgeries because they couldn't go into the hospitals. There was no room. And I had a very bad injury to my Achilles tendon. It was being shredded by a bone spur growing out of my foot. And there was like they were hungry like fish and sharks, and like, we want to do your surgery, we're gonna put you all up, and I swear they're all sped up and excited about it, like they haven't done surgery in so long. They're just like, they wanted to do it so bad, and they were going to make it much more complicated. I've had a chiropractor just adjust my foot. I asked him to. He learned how, and I didn't have to have this surgery where I wouldn't even be able to walk for 8 months, being on a non-weight bearing cast. And none of them, I actually went to my podiatrist just to get an x-ray to see how it looked after, about 8 months after the adjustment. And he said unkind remarks about that chiropractor. And he is basically like, you'll have to have the surgery someday. I mean, he was just out of control by the fact that I didn't get this done by a surgeon. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had to, he's like, you're not fixed. You're not fixed. I had to go like this with my foot up like this to show him and push it down. And I just looked at him and he's like, okay, I guess it's okay. And I mean, what is that? Why do people treat people like that when they're better, and they're coming for your
Mm-hmm.
medical opinion because they respected it at one time?
The thing of it is too is the programming. It's mind over matter. If you get somebody believing they have cancer or cervix
Yes.
cancer, they're paranoid about it, and their body's going to manifest that.
And I've seen a lot of people with dentists. Dentists are horrible about that,
Oh,
if
I
you
don't
ask
go. I
me.
haven't been to the dentist since 2008.
I haven't been to the dentist since I was 18.
Oh, really?
I'm 49. Well, I don't drink sodas and stuff. My teeth don't
Yeah.
really,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so,
Yeah.
but I guess at some point I'll have to do it. But, I'll wait till I need to, something's hurting.
Right. All right. Where do we go? Do we go off?
Well, we went off on a tangent and I loved it. I loved it. It was totally, absolutely, horribly controversial, Nichell. So tell us, after this blood moon, what can we expect? What's coming up for you this blood moon? What's happening for
I'm
you?
not sure. 2017, 16, 17, 18 for me, I was working in the music industry. I was traveling a lot, and
Yeah.
I was making good money. Is that going to come back again? I could possibly actually just reconnect it with an artist that I worked with during that time period. And her and I have been working together again. I don't know. We'll have to see. And I'm
Wow.
kind of wanting to, I'm a bit burnt out of doing readings.
Yeah.
I'm wanting to step back and reshift and maybe take a break from it.
You
But
are a natural performer, and the camera loves you,
oh no, I'm not
and your
talking about
voice is
performing.
beautiful.
I'm talking about I did production. So I did
You
like
did production. That's my
creative
favorite.
direction and graphic art production and video production.
I
Yes.
love that stuff. That's probably why your videos are so rad on Instagram. I mean, they're just amazing. I love watching them. They're so like the like ones where you show
Well,
flowers.
thank you.
I love all that. You're
Yeah.
good at it. I thought you were going to be like a singer or something. You're so good at just
No,
so
I actually
natural
work
on
with an
camera.
artist who's a singer. Her name is Inez X.
Oh,
She's
no.
actually this really amazing. She's got a great voice. She's fun. She's fun. And it's interesting to work or work creatively with people.
Yes.
Um, Being able to, especially like I love creative collaborations, like bringing something to life creatively with a group of people.
Me too.
But
Band. Hmm.
yeah, I worked at well, the last place I worked was Def Jam. And like Chris Brown was a big artist that I was dealing with during 2016, 17, 18. And oh my God, like he's genius. But even the hair and makeup people, the directors, the stylists,
Yes.
the choreographers, the dancers. It's like I love being surrounded by creative people.
Me
And
too. Yeah.
I feel like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then so it's affecting my house of like your 10th house, but it's also affecting my house of home and family, which I do feel like something is about to shift and change. We're all being activated. Take this time out over these next few days, even between the eclipses, to spend time outdoors, to take your socks off, shoes off,
The
put your
weather's
feet in
getting
the.
nice. Yeah.
Oh, good. In Nashville, good.
Yeah, here it
It's
is.
nice down here. It's
She's
80,
in
like
Florida,
85
listeners.
degrees here in Florida. Florida.
Florida.
But take your shoes and socks off. Put your feet in the sand, in the dirt, in the grass, and really absorb the energy,
I
the
feel it.
upgrade that is happening right now.
I can
Because it can
feel,
be very healing. Like especially with you're dealing with any kind of health ailments. Get out there and like feel the vibration coming up from the ground.
I will. And I've been feeling that I had like a Kundalini experience when I was
Yeah.
in my 20s. I didn't know that's what it was. I Googled, and I didn't think it was Google then. It was like Netscaping, maybe. He didn't have Google yet. But I had just been sitting on the computer. I was sitting on the floor, had a desktop, and I was sitting on the floor, and all of a sudden, like the rip just ripped out of me, and then I felt the energy go up. We just talked about this on a podcast recently, but just in the last couple of days, that Kundalini energy is just like if I want it to, it just fires up, and it's not sexual.
Mm-hmm.
It's just this powerful masculine kind of feeling, like
Nice. Okay.
fire and dragons and stuff. But I feel it in front of me
Mm.
like coming up. And I mean, I'll see if I can do it right now. I just, yeah, there it goes. It's just rising up and it feels very, it feels like a different kind of aggression than I have been dealing with the PTSD, which is a desperate aggression I take out on people when they trigger me. But this, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like this energy of this Kundalini coming back into my life, and it's such a strong thing to be able to bring it up and down is the best way I can put
Mm-hmm.
it. Because I can like rise it up, or I can simmer down now. It's giving me a feeling of how to be assertive instead of aggressive. But
Okay.
I'm not sure how to do that yet. But it's going to teach me, is what I think. That's what
I like that. I
energy.
think that there is something significant that you will learn over the next few days,
Okay.
this week, next week. It's all about, it's interesting because with these eclipses, it is all about how to harness the energy and really try just being.
Yeah.
Try just like grounding yourself by just being in your kitchen, listening to the food cook on your
I do that a
stove.
lot. Yeah. I'm usually pretty quiet. I sit around
Yeah,
and
just
just kind
try
of stay.
just listening to your breath as the food is cooking,
That makes a difference.
enjoying the moment, being present in the moment, smelling
Yes.
the aromas.
Yes.
When you're chopping, bless each piece of food that you're cutting. Try to be very present and let go, like rest, receive. Full moons are all about receiving. It's feminine energy, but so is especially a lunar eclipse is all about receiving. So it really is about sitting back and enjoying the show,
Yeah.
enjoying what the universe brings forth to you based upon the karma that you've already created, the synastry of energy that you've already created based upon all the decisions you've made consciously, subconsciously in the past 8 years. But it's a very pivotal time period.
It is.
And the
Seems like it is
ener-
for everybody right now.
yeah,
It does.
collectively, individually. And it will be the energy's magnified and amplified. So people will
Yeah,
be feeling it that much more
I have
strongly.
been. Have you been feeling it? Like just up, like emotional
Yeah,
kind of.
I've been
Woo.
just trying to be quiet. I've been just being quiet.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I've been
trying to
holding up
just,
at home too, pretty much. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But it's like this energy is dissolving in old life,
It
and
is.
as we are
It really is.
assimilating ourselves into a new frequency of life, and work with crystals, journal, um, write down your dreams, ask questions before you go to bed, set intentions before you go to bed. This is a great time for astral travel and quantum leaping and um, you know anything that anything that you can utilize the spirit realm in terms of us being recognizing that we're the alchemists, that we are the shapeshifters, that we are the magicians, that now is a time when it's like life meets fate, life meets destiny. Do you want to stay in your real, do you want to stay in that old life?
Not
It's
me.
comfortable. It is comfortable. Especially people who are in long-term
Yes.
situations. And, my friend has been, she was just laid off from a career that she's been in for 20 something years.
Yeah.
And that check, getting that check every other week.
Yeah.
Very comfortable for 20 something years.
Yeah.
Comfortable.
Yeah. A lot. It's weird you say that. I have heard quite a few people retiring around now. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just a different getting adjusted to a different type of lifestyle, different
definitely.
rhythm, but it can be even more prosperous, you know?
It can be, and so I think some people. I personally have changed jobs so many times. It's ridiculous.
So have I.
Some people stay with the same kind of employment their whole life, even the same job. It is hard to just leave that life. I mean, that's the life they've known. Like for forever, years, 30, 40 years or something. I can't imagine having a kind of job with the same people and everything and then
No
leaving it for
kidding, right?
retirement. That would just be like mind
Too, how about
blowing.
partners? I mean, that's a blessing. God bless people who can stay together in an intimate relationship for long
Yes.
periods of time, but Lord have mercy. I remember I dated someone for 6 years, and the two last years I spent trying to break up with that person. It
Yeah.
was this, oh, I don't want to hurt them. I don't want to hurt them. Oh, not now, not now. It's the
Never a good
birthday.
time. There's
Oh,
never
not
a good
now. It's
time.
Christmas. Oh, not now. It's New
Yeah. Oh, I
Year's.
hate that. Yeah.
And it's like that's so selfish. So selfish.
Because
Such
they
a
really need to be let go if they're not
yeah,
loved like they want to be loved too, right?
exactly.
Yeah, I've done the same thing before, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've heard a lot of it. There's a woman that I worked with last week where she's been in like a 20 something year marriage, and her husband, I mean, look, the thing of it is this is what happens with marriages, with children, with property, with money involved. They do evolve into something else where it's not sexual or uh,
It's a family.
intimate anymore. And it's
Yeah.
okay. It's evolved into something else. But
Yeah.
people see it as
They
tragic and
do. It's not
yeah,
though. It's pretty I
yeah.
mean, I raised
But
stepsons and I mean, it was fun.
yeah,
You know,
it's
but
natural.
yeah.
It's like a natural flow
Yeah.
of what happens. I think that a lot of people don't realize that love relationship. You have a baby, and being a parent to the child doesn't translate or isn't compatible with that love relationship.
Mm-mm.
And then you have more kids, and then again, like I said, you bring in owning property, financial situation, and to just forget it.
Yeah.
There's so many people who are married to people that they hate.
I know. I know. And I felt like I was one of them who was the one who was hated in both my
Right.
marriages.
I remember too being in the relationship, and the I was yearning and longing for my ex-boyfriend. And
Yeah.
oh my God, like that part of being in that committed relationship, where it's a loveless
Yeah.
relationship. But then, there's always some kind of imbalance where one person is still in love with the other person. And
There's
that's so
something there's a
crazy.
lot of time there really is that there's somebody who can't let go or move on, or
Yeah, that's hard. The
or
guilt
maybe they both
tripping
can't in
and
some level, in some
right,
way. If the other one's not letting go, then I'm not letting go. And if you're not letting go, you're not, in the
right.
energy, they're kind of like, if you won't let go, I won't let go first. And it's just like
It's
back and forth
interesting.
over.
Yeah, or you have extended family that's guilt tripping you.
Yeah.
Because you have kids, and
Yeah.
then you're the mother or the mother-in-law, or sibling.
Yes,
It can,
it's a lot.
yeah,
It's a lot to take into
and
life. When
it,
you're so young and you haven't lived life, you can just watch TVs and movies, and they get the one and it's over. Yeah. In the
mm,
romance movies, they meet the perfect. I kind of have a bone to pick with romantic comedies of the last 20 years, but they haven't been that good. Maybe 10 years. They haven't had any good romantic comedies that I'm like, yes, that's. I've seen a couple, but there's none that really to me represent how people are in the real world right now, is in the romantic
mhm.
comedies anymore in movies. For example, um, because people I mean, maybe it's because I'm older too, but like we've talked about, I think you've talked about this before. The younger people, they don't really want to jump in relationships and out of relationships and in and out.
Mm.
They want serious. They want that really the love. They don't want to just jump in and out. Like when we were raised, when we were growing up, it was kind of like date around, see what you like, you know?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that aspect.
Yeah.
Being somebody who's now past an age of, birthing, I have to say, I do not regret not having children,
I
not
don't either.
in one way, shape, or form. And I remember people saying along the way, "Oh, you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it. You're going to regret it."
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't.
I don't either. No
I
one ever
feel
told me
actually
that,
I've
but
been
yeah,
blessed.
I wondered if I'd regret it, but I don't at all. But I did get to raise two stepsons, basically
Mhm.
from 5 and 9 until 18 and 20 or something, 20
Uh-huh.
something. So that was, pretty cool, but I did not want to have babies. I didn't want to do any of that. Oh, ow.
Much rather lay an egg. Much
Yes,
rather lay an egg and have to
yes, an
sit on it
egg.
than to stretch out my body.
Yes, and it hatches a kitten.
Right? Yeah.
Okay, so after our blood moon, we're in a Venus retrograde right now, right? Is that right?
Yeah, and Mercury will retrograde on Saturday. So
Yeesh.
the eclipse it's early in the morning Eastern time, 2:55 in the morning Eastern time. And then on Saturday, the 15th in the morning, Mercury will retrograde. I think at about 10 degrees varies, which is another that's where Venus is
Yeah.
has backed up from. So
Wow.
yeah,
Aries is being hammered.
Aries and Pisces. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, so then the new moon solar eclipse is on the 29th at 6:58 a.m. at 9 degrees 00 seconds Aries.
Okay. So what do you see for that eclipse?
Well, that's when all this energy becomes activated of what is ending. There's going to be some abrupt endings. Like people
I
need
feel
to.
that.
Yeah, I
Feel it.
mean,
Yeah.
it's really being. If you know how eclipses work. If you didn't have the strength to do it, an eclipse is about to come in and do it for you.
Right. You're right, man. You're totally
Right?
right. You're absolutely right. Or some planet will go direct like Uranus and you're screwed. Or you're
Uh-huh.
happy.
Yeah.
I don't know. That one's the one that I guess because it's in my chart, it's pretty prominent. To me,
Hmm.
the angle, the aspects it makes my Uranus, when I look at the chart, it makes sense to me how it interacts in my life. I know it's a generational planet, but like I've always had a lot of chaos, and it's weird because it's like I think the Uranus is like right in my fifth house. That was Neptune. No, Neptune's
Yeah.
fourth house. had the Uranus, and that's weird because my family life has always been very weird. And the fourth house listeners is like usually your living situation, right? Or maybe like your family life or living situation where you live. And I've never been in a traditional situation, which is a lot like Uranus. And it does come along and mess up my home life whenever certain aspects of those of the planets that are aspecting Uranus in my chart, they have actions. And that one is, I think, I want to say that one's square my moon and Cancer in the 12th house as well. They're all kind of smushed up in there.
Yeah.
So it shows a lot, like whenever I have a health issue, a lot of times I will have to change my living situation in some way, and my moon is in my 6th house. So that's just like as an example. So I'm really used to a lot of changes and in my living situation. The only time I've lived in one place for a long period of time was when I was married to that second husband. So, that really shows up for me a lot in my living situations.
Well, with the moon in the house of Virgo, you do go through some kind of an emotional upgrade. This will be a very emotional time for you.
Oh yeah,
These next few days.
It has been.
Yeah,
really hard.
You're doing some form of emotional releasing. But it does have to do with, where's Uranus again? Uranus is at the top of your chart?
No, it's at the bottom in 0 degrees Scorpio in the 4th house, I think. Yeah, 4th house. Okay. Yeah.
Scorpio.
It's in Libra. It's in Libra.
Something shifts in you. You have probably some kind of major shifts in terms of your daily routines and daily activities. Something's being dissolved, like an old form of karma is being dissolved as you open yourself up to something new.
Yeah. I feel something new coming too. I don't know what it is though. We'll find out, I guess. To be continued. And Nichell, what do you think coming? What do you think it is? Do you think you're gonna go back into your?
What do I think? I think that, especially, well, a lot, this energy too is happening in my home and family. So I think that, I don't know, there's some form of evolution going on with my home and family, or for me, home wise. I think there is something career wise. It's accumulative, this full moon lunar eclipse is accumulative. So it's really based upon what it is you've already been, what you've already done.
You do everything though.
No, I'm talking about just in the time period from
2017, 18.
Yeah,
okay,
that cycle is closing. So I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll have to talk about this maybe in a couple months.
But we're loving life and we're living our best lives.
You're right. It's not too hard to. It's not too hard.
Exactly. Amen.
Nichell, right, where can people find you? You're on Everclear.
Everclear, Nichell. I love Everclear. One of the things that I've been really setting intentions on, really for the past year, which has been my uptick of creating content, was that I wanted to have more followers so that my Everclear, like, I want to be able to turn on my button on Everclear and call after call after call until I turn it off. Like, I want to be able to have a good income, and the people on Everclear to have a good income, because it's a great platform. I don't know. I don't know what the answer is.
I don't either. It's a really weird time. And I've been feeling something coming between March 15th and 18th to the 19th for a while. And I keep getting March 17th in my readings. I don't know why, but it keeps coming up for reconnections. And it's St. Patrick's Day. It might just be a holiday thing.
Okay. And what do you think of the future of Everclear?
I think it's going to go for a long time. I love the way they have set up. That. Well, the reason is I've worked for a lot of platforms, and the way they worked it up is like they slowly integrated themselves into the field, but as an advice app. They didn't pitch it as a psychic reading. It is a psychic reading. They will say that you're getting a reading, but it's for advice. It's not for a prediction necessarily. I'm here to give advice. I don't like to give advice unless I'm asked for it. So it's perfect for me. But they've really set themselves up for long-term platform success. That's what I think. I think they will too. And I think it's because one of the reasons is that they pay us so much of our percentage of our per minute rate. They offer that much to us. And no, I've never had that much offered to me anywhere. And I also think the other aspect is that they let us all get to know each other. So the coworkers are building relationships that will be echoed down through other platforms they work for, you know, and the Everclear will build the reputation for what they are. You know, they're awesome to their employees, pretty much. They have been for me anyway, and from what I've seen, you know. Some people haven't gotten along with them all the way. I've never talked to. I mean, I think I've talked to one person there, but mostly it's all emails, you know. But yeah. So for now, where can they find you? They can find you on Instagram under
Instagram, Nichell, Nichell 3.0.
3.0. And anywhere else you'd like them to look for you?
Oh, no, that Instagram and Everclear. Instagram and Everclear.
I'll put that stuff on the description of the podcast. And we'll go ahead and thank our sponsor, Everclear. Everclear is a sponsor, and they are an advice app and website where you can get advice from psychics and empaths. Advice to get the clarity you need to create the life you deserve. And lastly, do you have any advice about how we should handle any kind of random upheavals coming up? And any advice? Ground yourself, feet in the grass.
Breathe.
Breathe.
And be present. Just stay here. Stay present. Stay where you are. Okay. The anxiety comes from, you know, you're somewhere in the future. What if this? What if that? What if this?
I know, you don't know.
Just stay here. And just know that, you know, also give yourself the credit that you've something is being invited or coming into your life because of your own energy, because of the work you've done. Believe in the work you've done.
Yes, I like that. That's beautiful. And thank you, Nichell. I always love having you on here, and you give great advice. Even if you do transition into another field, I would love to have you back as often as you'd like to come back.
Love you, Lisa. Have a good night.
Have a peaceful night. Listeners and watchers, we love you. Have a wonderful time wherever you may be, and peace out.